Hi everyone, I'm Corione, your witch in residence here on YouTube. And recently I got a chance to watch Apollo 13. And for those that haven't watched this yet, what are you waiting for? It's been out for a while, but it really got me thinking about the ingenuity of the human spirit. There is this fantastic scene where they realize that the the ship capsule and the ship lander use two different air filters, and they need to figure out how to make one of the filters from the lander, a literal square peg, fit into the air filter for the crew module, which is a literal round hole. And they put a pile of stuff on the desk of everything they have access to on the ship that isn't absolutely mission critical, and they have to try to figure out how to make these two work. And it got me thinking about all the times that you and I go through our daily lives and we have to think a little bit outside the box. We have to be willing to accept that sometimes we have to get a little creative. Now, speaking of creative endeavors, all of this is mine. And it has been awesome and it is a great ride so far. But I have a mission of trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before my first year in this internet of things that I have going on here. So I'm going to put out a request. Please share this video out, give it a like. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, please do. Let's build this community up to 1,000 so I can get monetized and be able to afford to spend more time here working with you guys, talking about all the cool stuff that I really want to discuss with you guys. So let's do that. And with that obligatory ritual out of the way, let's carry on to Apollo 13. Now, so the premise is set. We have to come up with a unique way of doing things, even though, we're kind of stuck if we don't. And granted, in the movie, the stakes are a lot higher than our daily lives. Usually, it's not a life and death issue if we find that we need to come up with a different way of doing things. But I'm going to suggest to you that, for example, there are a lot of times when we're going to want to come up with unconventional solutions. Thinking back to very early on in my marriage with my wife, and we were trying to figure out what to do for dinner. And we were looking at a whole bunch of stuff, and we just started going, well, we have these tortellini here, so let's make some pasta. And we have this tomato sauce we made a while back and froze, so okay, yeah, we've got that, pasta and sauce, but we got to put something else with it. And we found some mushrooms, okay, great. But we wanted some protein because, let's be honest, we like our protein here. And all I had were Italian sausages. So I went, you know what? I'm going to open the casing up, roll them into balls, and we're going to pan fry them, and that'll be our meatballs. And since we did that, that's become a thing that in my house is an absolute staple. And it turned out to be a happy accident, and we wouldn't have done it until we sat down and said, I don't want to go to the store today. I want to find a solution now. So that kind of thinking outside the box and innovating where you can, it really helps. And it really does force your brain to work a little bit harder. And, often we hear about the benefits of running and the benefits of, working out as making your body healthier through exercise. Very rarely do we talk about taking yourself to the mental gymnasium, right? Putting your brain on the treadmill, if you will. And part of that is finding new ways of doing things that you've done before. Okay. A textbook example of why this is important is if our brains get stuck into patterns, we're more inclined to stay in those patterns. And rigid thinking can lead to errors in judgment down the road when situations change. So it's important to do little exercises every day to help your brain get out of its rut. Additionally, given that this is January and January is like the depression capital of the year, changing up your life, doing things a little differently, finding weird solutions that you wouldn't have thought of before is a really good thing because it engages your brain and it gets you out of that 31 days of Mondays mode. Okay. So let's do that. Let's decide to be a little bit better. Okay. Let's think about unique and weird solutions, which is actually why I'm going to propose this. As you know, my current mission on YouTube is to try to get to 1,000 subscribers. So I thought it might be fun to hold a little bit of a campaign here. Okay. If you guys can get me to 1,000 subscribers, the 1,000th subscriber, I'm going to message them directly and ask them who recommended them to the channel. If they reply it's you, I will have a prize pack for you. And it's going to be all kinds of fun, witchy, spiritual stuff. So I've put together a prize pack. It's all ready to go. Let's get me to 1,000, and the 1,000th person, them and their person that they bring in, is going to get a little witchy surprise pack. There's going to be a set of tarot cards and how to read them. I believe I've also got a bunch of helpful stones and whatnot in there. So we'll get it shipped out to you. But that's the goal, guys, is help me get to 1,000. That's how I'm going to innovate, is by giving you guys a funky, weird prize pack. Okay? There's also going to be some other fun stuff in there. And yeah, that's the idea. So getting back to the idea of surprise and innovation, here's what I'm going to suggest. If you're in a place that's got a lot of snow right now, instead of doing the normal way you would shovel your driveway, try shoveling it on an angle. Do diagonals the whole way along. See if maybe the space that you're shoveling out, it works better by doing it on an angle. It may not work, right? Thankfully, we are not in a situation where the stakes are life and death. So we can try a little bit of weird unorthodoxy and see if it works for you, right? So try shoveling it at an angle. If you're in a place that's warm all the time, try mowing your lawn on an angle for a change. Maybe do it in chevrons. See if it's a look that you like and if it's something that you want to try further, right? If you guys are in kind of a place where you don't really have to mow the lawn or what have you right now, take a different route than you normally would on your daily walks, okay? Or at the very least, go the way your GPS doesn't tell you to go, okay? Try something new. Go to a different place. Instead of going with your significant other to the same old restaurant you go to, try a different restaurant for a change. Order something that you normally wouldn't order, but is neat on their menu and unique, okay? Because the idea is we're going to think a little bit outside the box this week. We're going to try something new this week, something exciting. And you know what? If it doesn't work, remember that bad results are still results, okay? Edison was famous for saying that he didn't really invent the light bulb so much as he found thousands of ways to not create a light bulb. So there we go, okay? Try it. The worst that can happen is you go, well, I'm not going to do that again. And you know something about yourself now for the future, right? Try solving a puzzle a different way than you normally would. I'll give you an example. I tend to play solitaire by always focusing on the leftmost card when I have an option. So if I have an option between two places to put a card, I will always put it on the left. But you know what? This week I'm going to try the right, okay? This week I'm going to try a couple of other different things just to change things up a little bit. And what I'd like you to do is once you've changed things up or you've put a plan together on what you're going to change, tell us about it in the comments, okay? I'd love to hear about the weirdness you guys are going to try for the next week and see if it's something cool and come back and report and update us. Let us know. If it's something really cool, you may inspire others to similar levels of coolness that you have achieved. And how cool is it if you set the trend on something, on YouTube? How awesome is it to walk away and say, yeah, I tried, applesauce in my, on my quesadillas, and it turned out awesome, and other people try it, and now suddenly, there are cooking channels talking about applesauce on quesadilla. You could be responsible for something weird like that, and it could be amazing, but you won't be unless you try. So let's take a look at the box, acknowledge that the box is important for a lot of reasons, but let's put it aside for just a little while and try something different. All right? Let's push outside the box just a little bit. Try something unique so that maybe you stumble across something wonderful that you can share with everyone else. Because ultimately, as I said before, January's caused a lot of people to feel like they're in a rut, to feel like they're stuck. And it's only in February, when we have Valentine's Day to think about and people start worrying about that, that people consider doing something new. Well, let's buck that trend. Let's start now. Because if we spend at least a couple of weeks beforehand getting the jump on everyone else, it's pretty awesome to be in an awesome mood when everyone else has the January blahs. And I'd like to see you guys for that. There's something I'm going to actually recommend now. I don't normally do this, but we're going to try this for those, of course, that are not allergic to it. There is a little witchy trick that I want to teach everybody, and that is nutmeg in either your tea or, in a drink like coffee or what have you at this time of the year will actually revitalize you a little bit and give you a little bit of a kick in energy boost. It doesn't sound like something you would normally do, but trust me, try, if you're not allergic to it, of course, try it in your warm beverage of choice. And, a couple of days of it, and you really will start to feel like you've got a little bit of a fresh energy piece. So that's your little bit of herb lore for today. Along with the rest of it, think about what I've said. Try something different. Let us know in the comments, because, we're all fascinated by what we do. And a big thing about kind of the Wiccan philosophy on life is trying things and reporting back, and everybody learning from what you've learned. So let's do that together. Okay, that's what I want to give you guys, is let's try something new and see where it takes us. And hopefully it'll take us to somewhere cool. And even if it doesn't, we all learn a valuable lesson from it. And with that in mind, I just want to say thank you very much for coming out today. Merry meet, merry part, merry meet again. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.